Right, here we go. We've now got the Grotmas Gitz. So really excited about this because this creates now the third commemorative model that I've got, and also the third commemorative Orc model that I've got. All right, he's a Grot, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I got the Grotmas Gitz. I've got the Red Gobbo's Surprise, and I've got the Goth Rocker. So I'm really interested to see what next Christmas's one's going to be, if they're going to carry on with Orcs. But for now, let's have a look at what we get in the Grotmas Gitz. Now, I spoke about the Red Gobbo Surprise. I personally feel he will be a fantastic addition to a commando group. So I know he's probably got his own rules, but I think he would make a great little commando grot. I think he works well because he's got his explosives and he's got his harpoon. So what about the actual Grotmas Gitz? Well, this is the thing about this one. He could be for 40k, but I'd have to see, you know, what kind of grot rides a squig in 40k. However, the obvious one here, and the one that makes the most sense to me, is that he's a Gloom Spike Gitz. Loom Boss on Squig, I think, is the correct definition. So let's get him opened up and let's have a look. So, I mean, like, the box as always, it's in a nice box, but as we know with boxes, unless you're planning on never opening it and saving it for the future, you know, like seeing if it'll be worth something. However, personally, my view is they mass produce so many of these that you'll probably take a long time before it's actually worth anything. And it's not like it's like a resin or a metal model, but still, you know, if you want to keep them safe, they might increase in value over time. I'm skeptical, to be quite honest. So let's have a look. Just looking at the artwork on the back as well. So they've done it in traditional, they've basically done it in traditional Gloom Spike Git colours. So you can see he's got black robes on a red squig. I like the fact that there's what looks like a Space Marine toy and a Stormcast toy as well. So again, this is going to work well if I use this for my Gloom Spike Gitz. He's on a circular base. However, that doesn't mean that in the future you can't use him in Old World when it comes out. Right, let's have a look at this. Now, straight away, based upon the look of this here, it feels to me that it's been designed for Age of Sigmar, without a doubt about that. You know, the instructions were a bit more complicated because obviously there's a bigger model, and on the back we very, very, very clearly have a war scroll for Age of Sigmar. So there's no doubt about it. This is a special character for the Age of Sigmar. I love that. I'm so happy about that, that it's got its actual rules. So it's great that it's got special rules for Age of Sigmar. I don't see anything resembling 40k rules, and I think that's one of those interesting things sometimes. The Red Gobbo Surprise doesn't seem to have any rules printed on it like this one does, so I'm really chuffed about that. It's actually got rules. So as much as it can be used for a Loom Boss, it, you know, it has very, very clear Age of Sigmar rules for it. I'm very, very happy about that. I don't know to what extent the new 40k rules work, but again, I don't know quite how this would, you know, blend in. I'm just going to pop my light on here. There we go, to see it a bit clearer. Okay, so let's have a good look at this sprue. So, you know, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about a sprue in itself, but let's try and pick out some of the little details to see what is of interest within this. So, you've got your actual main guy himself. So I don't know whether or not he's got a name. I'll have to check that out because it's just generally referred to as the Grotmas Gitz. But I don't know. I know you've got the Red Gobbo, I think it's the black gobbo also, I think. So this could be, by definition, the black gobbo, in the same way that Grombrindle comes in many different forms. And the red gobbo, I think, comes in many different forms. Again, he's definitely a Gloomspite Git, or if you're thinking about the old world, he's definitely a night goblin. But obviously with the festive trims on his robes. Again, I like that. I'm still working out my colour scheme for my Gloomspite Gitz, because I want to go for very earthy colour, well, you know, hidden, you know, the colours very toned down basically for the dark, and trying to get other source lighting, whereas this one, I don't know if it would work very well with other source lighting, so I'm going to have a think about that. So we've got little small grots, basically snotlings everywhere. So these got loads of little snotlings doing loads of little different things, you know, including, let's have a look here. So we've got one kind of hanging on for dear life by the look of it. Got one making a snow angel. And again, you can see on the base here, gosh, tiny little details to do. So basically, if you look there, I'm gonna call that epic scale. So basically, you've got epic scale Stormcast trampled into the snow. It's going to be hard doing that guy in Iron Things. So what else have we got here? We've got like typical Christmas, bits really. So you've got what looks like part of a tree. It's gobbling up the presents because it's a squig, and that's what they do. The squig is a nice big brute. Okay, so he's not the largest squig you're going to come across, but he is definitely a boss mount. So again, it's really cool to have that. Of course, the obligatory antlers, just for the fun of it, being slapped onto the squig. So we've got a lot of character to this model. In the same way that the Red Gobbo, he is festive, but I don't think I like that Red Gobbo miniature as much as I like this one. The Red Gobbo, surprise, again, it feels interesting, but I feel like he's kind of like a commando grot. He would work well within a unit, whereas this is a character. You feel that it's a character and that it's out there on its own. So I'm really liking this model. I think it's far better, personally, than the Red Gobbo Surprise. But I also get that they're kind of like a pairing. The Red Gobbo putting in 40k without a doubt. I think he's a perfect commando stand-in. And on this side of things, you have got a character, basically, if you are collecting the Gloomspite Gitz in Age of Sigmar. However, be mindful, with Old Hammer coming out, you might be able to put that in some kind of base converter. I'm sure people are going to be making them soon, so that you can have a square base for him for Old Hammer, because I think he'll work well in Old Hammer when that comes back next year. So I like what I'm seeing with this model. It looks lovely to my mind, and I think the advantage that this has clearly got, I don't think I saw any proper rules in the box for the Red Gobbo, whereas this is very clearly a war scroll. So I am definitely putting this as personal thoughts, a better miniature overall, and I'm really pleased with it. And in a second, I'm of course going to be putting it together. So if you've got one and you are having any problems putting it together, or you just like hearing me go through my thought processes while I put some miniatures together, then please watch and please like and subscribe, and I will see you for the build.